Hi YouTube, my Ninja here, hope you're well. Today I'm going to be doing you a deck profile for my Runick deck. Now I use this deck more as a fun deck rather than a competitive deck. I've never used it at a tournament, so I don't know how it would do. I think it'd be fairly strong, but as I said, it's mainly just a fun deck that I use from time to time. And for those of you that don't know, as most of you may know, the whole point with the Runick cards is just banish cards from your opponent's deck and try and get their deck down to 0 as quick as possible, so that when they do take a turn they can't draw a card, you win. So we'll talk about the main deck, then we'll talk about the extra deck, and then there'll be a part 2 to follow, which will go over the combos I use. So this deck is spell heavy. It's all mainly Runick spell cards. So we'll go through what I've got and then we'll take it from there. So I'm running 2 Runick Fountains, the field spell for this deck, which is quite important because it just lets you regenerate your Runick quick spell cards that you've already used. So once per turn you can target up to 3 Runick cards, put them in your deck and then draw the same amount that you've just replaced. So it's a pretty handy card to have. Then we have 3 Runick Allures. Nice simple card. Every time that a quick play spell card is activated by either player, your opponent manages 1 card from the top of their deck. We've got 2 Golden Droplets, which lets your opponent draw a card. Then once they've drawn a card, you can discard the top 4 cards of their deck. So as you can see, all of these effects focus heavily on banishing cards from top of your opponent's effect. And the second effect on all of the Runick quick spell cards is to special summon 1 Runick monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. So in effect you can only summon 1, but it comes in handy, especially when you get your combos going. So we're running 1 Runick Flashing Fire, which is handy. I'm only running 1 just because I've only got 1 at the moment, because all these cards are cards that I've pulled, they're not cards that I've individually bought. So this one targets a special summon monster your opponent controls, you destroy it, and then you get to banish the top 2 cards from their deck. From their extra deck, sorry, which is handy for getting rid of some cards that can be a pain in the backside. So again, we got 3 Runick Destructions. Now this one lets you target 1 spell trap card your opponent controls, you destroy it, and then again, this time you can banish the top 4 cards of your opponent's deck. We got 3 Runick Dispellings, which when your opponent adds a card from the deck to the hand, except for during the draw phase, you can discard one random card from the hand, and then they banish 2 cards from the top of the deck. We've got Runick Slumber, so you can target 1 face-up monster from the field. The next time that monster would be destroyed with battle card effect, it's not. And then you banish the top 3 cards from your opponent's deck. Then we got Runick Smiting Storm. So you just banish the top card of your opponent's deck up to the number of cards that they control, which is quite handy because if they got a full board, you could potentially get up to 10 to 11 cards gone. So then we were running 3 Runick Freezing Curses. You target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, you negate its effects, and then you banish the top 3 cards from the top of their deck. Then that's it for the Runick spell cards. Now the only downside with it is that you can attack the turn. Is it the turn after? Oh no, you skip your next battle phase after the turn after you use these. But I've got this deck set up so that's not too much of a problem for me. So if we look at the other cards, I'm running a Kashtira Rebirth. Really handy because it lets you normal summon level 7 monsters without tributing. I got Quick Booster so I can recycle one of my Runick quick spell cards. I got 1 Cosmic Cyclone. I got 1 Swords of Feeling Light. That's just there, just so if I haven't got any monsters out, well then it'll just protect me for 3 turns. Then I'm running 2 Kashtiras, 1 Unicorn. Really handy, level 7. I can summon them if I got without, well, I can special summon them, but also I can normal summon them. as long as I've got a Sealer Birth out. The only downside is I wouldn't have Runick Fountain out, but really handy abilities on them. This one letting you banish a monster from the extra deck, and this one banishing a card on the field. So really handy, plus a level 7, that will tie in with my extra deck monsters, which we'll see soon. I got one Red Ice, just because he's level 7. Then I've got one Curry Bow, one Curry Bat, one Curry Bee, one Curry Bat, and one Curry Boo. Now I've got these because of a monster that I've got in my extra deck, which I'll talk about when we get to that deck. And I've got Scarecrow, Acro, Ballone, and Astra. Really good because as long as you got one of them, I can special some of the others as long as they're in your hand. And plus they'll go into one of my extra deck monsters. I got one Dot Scaper because I just really like the fact that once it gets destroyed once, you can bring it back. I got one Draw and Lock Bird. I just like the effect of being able to stop my opponent from getting more cards from their deck. Then I've only got 4 traps in this deck. You got Compulsory, Evacuation, Magical Cinder, Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and Mirror Force, just for a little bit of added protection, because obviously with this deck, I'm focusing on getting rid of my opponent's cards from their deck, rather than dealing damage. So then if we look at the extra deck, at the moment I've got one Moon in the Runick Rings. I do want another copy. So really handy card because it lets you get a continuous Runick spell card from your deck. If a card... I can banish this card to stop an effect. And also, as long as this is face up on the field, at the end, during each end phase, I get 1,000 life points. So it's a good way to stack your life points back up. I've got 2 Hug in the Runick Rings. Really good because I can discard a card to get my Runick field spell card, and if another card would be destroyed by card effect, I can banish this card instead. And if this card is destroyed by battle card effect, I can return it to the extra deck. So it's a good way to recycle that card. I've got 2 Frecky, the Runick Fangs, which is handy because when an attack is declared involving this card, when it's in the extra monster zone, I'm going to banish the top 2 cards of my opponent's deck. Another way to get rid of their card. And neither of us take any battle damage from attacks with this card. So I could attack a card stronger and it would get destroyed, but I wouldn't take any battle damage, which is really handy. And if he's destroyed by battle, I can get a quick play Runick card from my graveyard. I got Jerry the Runick Ring, who can't be destroyed by card effects. When he's special summon, I can target one non-quick play Runick spell in my graveyard and I can add it to my hand. Then when this is destroyed, I can destroy 1 card on the field. So this is where my Karibo brothers come in. It's for number 54 Lionheart. You need 3 level 1 monsters. You can't be destroyed by battle. I take battle damage and so does my opponent for battles involved in this. But if I detach material, my opponent will take my damage instead. So it's just another way to protect my life points essentially. I got Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. That's why I've got the Castiras and the Red Eyes, because they're level 7, just so I can get him out nice and quick. And obviously he's got that burn effect for when effects are activated. I've got one Relinquish Anamna, just because if I've got the card out and there's a card, say, opposite my extra zone and I wanted it, take control of it, I could get him out and then it's a way to slow my opponent down. I got one Ball Sword Dragon. It's pretty strong, and then I'm running Scarecrow Tryhard. That's where my Scarecrows come in. Yeah, so that's my Runick deck. There will be a part 2 to follow where we'll talk about combos. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, then leave me a comment. If you've got any suggestions, and I'd be happy to read them. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like and subscribe, and hope you will be back to see part 2. Take care.